August of 2024 from Vinyl Me Please. What did they suggest, but what did I choose instead? Let's find out. I initially was not that excited about Vinyl Me Please's August 2024 offerings, I'll be completely honest. For the Eseentials record, they offered DMX, It's Dark, and Hell is Hot, which I'm not going to argue is an essential record to have in your collection, but it's not one that I'm looking for at the moment, and I wasn't really that excited with either of the other choices as well. And this is where swaps come in, and rightfully so. You can't please all the people all the time. But before we get to what I swapped, I want to remind people to be awesome like this person did. And if you want to sign up for Vinyl Me Please, use the code below and you can save as much as $80 on a year membership. And I get a portion of the sale, so you're not just helping yourself out with great vinyl and a great service, you're also helping out this channel as well. So that's very awesome. Thank you to this person who signed up in August. I will put your name on the screen for signing up. I am eternally grateful, but know that I am not in any way sponsored by Vinyl Me Please for this video or for any of the videos that I make about the records of the month or these little things. I will let you know if I ever am sponsored by them. Also, some news that it seems, nothing official except actual shipping notifications and things that are actually showing up in my house. It seems that Vinyl Me Please backlog of stuff is starting to actually move ahead. So, like I said in my Holy Crap What Is Happening with Vinyl Me Please video, I was not canceling, and I'm glad that I didn't, and the Impulse box set is actually shipping out, and I got a notification for it on Friday, so I'm very excited for that. And they started advertising more of the anthology stuff as well, so I would assume that the Blue Note box will be coming soon, as well as others if you have those ordered. I also have a lot of exclusives on order, and I'll be honest, I was actually getting a little hesitant to even make any more orders at this point, and then I got a notification of the Los Reyes 73, and I almost didn't order it, and then the next day all of the stuff that we're about to talk about shipped, so I ordered it, and then hopefully it will come in sooner than later. I also ordered another Mr. Bongo exclusive, the Juan Pablo Torres. Both awesome Latin funk and soul LPs. Very excited for all of these. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to hear about the Impulse box or any of this stuff. I will be talking about it very soon. But let's start with the exclusives that shipped out that I've been waiting for, since I am very excited that I did not cancel for either one of these. The first one here in particular is Fraction Moonblood, originally released in 1971. This is a very rare reissue of a record that's been the stuff of legend among vinyl collectors. I'm sure Noble Records has a perfect OG copy of this that he got for like 10 cents at a yard sale when he was 15 or something like that, but the rest of us mortals will never touch an original copy of one of these. They go for a ridiculous amount of money. This is a fully licensed reissue from Riding Easy Records, and this variant is a Vinyl Me Please exclusive on blue translucent vinyl, and these are hand numbered out of 300. This comes unsealed the same way that it does from Riding Easy Records, and it also has the original folio cutout, which is really, really awesome. It makes the moon turn red when you put it in the cover. It's really cool. Now, Riding Easy's actually done a few different variations of this record, and I have the clear variation, but the splatter version and the alternate cover versions are both worth a good bit at this point, even just for these reissues. And when I added this one to Discogs, apparently this is also very rare and is fetching a big price on this. So a reminder not to sleep on these Vinyl Me Please exclusives or even the records of the month, and to be a member so that you get these emails when you find out about them. These are sought after records. So I know that this record sold out very quickly on Vinyl Me Please. This record is like a psych rock and, you know, almost kind of folk rockish at points. I'm not the best person on the background of this record, but there are hints of Black Sabbath and other rock and psych influences, and maybe it was actually the other way around. Maybe those groups were actually more influenced by Fraction, since this is like kind of a cult favorite record that came out in the 70s. So I'm sure that Noble Records could speak much more to this. But I do know that there are a ton of bootleg versions out there of this, so it's nice to have a fully licensed version, and hopefully the band or the creators of this are actually getting paid something. I think that Noble Records may have put out his own version of this as well. He's been doing all kinds of really awesome reissues of really super rare records, but I'm not going to go out and hunt down every single variation of this. I got this one and it's cool as hell, and I'm glad that I stuck with it from Vinyl Me Please for this one, so hopefully you didn't miss out on it either. Another exclusive from Vinyl Me Please that took forever to come along, but this was totally worth it, is Junior Parker, Love Ain't Nothing But a Business Going On. This was originally released as The Outside Man in 1970, and with a completely different cover. It was black and white with a cat on the cover from Capitol Records, but then it was reissued with this cover in 1971 on Groove Merchant Records. And this is a funk, soul, blues treasure that is just absolutely awesome. Think like the Muddy Waters Electric Mud stuff that came out with Cadet Records. It's actually on the Cadet box set that Vinyl Me Please put out, but it's a very cool blues funk record. This is a reissue in partnership with Mr. Bongo Records on this VMP exclusive 180 gram beige opaque vinyl, and this is numbered and limited to 300 copies. Mine is numbered 94, which is awesome. This is mastered at Coda Mastering from Mark Dobson. It doesn't mention that it's from the original master tapes, but it sounds really good. And in regards to these old funk or soul reissues like this, I don't actually care if they're AAA. I just want the grooves. Sometimes these are just so hard to come by, so it's great to get any type of reissue that you can. And this hasn't been reissued again since 1974. And this has a lot of really awesome grooves on it, including 3 Beatles covers: Lady Madonna, Taxman, and Tomorrow Never Knows. And the cover for Tomorrow Never Knows on this is really, really sick. It's the last track on the record, but it's very spaced out, and it's almost just like 4 or 5 notes the entire time. And that's a weird song to kind of cover because that song is just so tripped out from the Beatles on that album. But he does a great job of it here, and it sounds fantastic, so it's really, really cool to have this. This record is legendary and has been sampled by A Tribe Called Quest, Cypress Hill, and De La Soul, and it goes for about $100 or so in mint condition for the original, so to have it like this is just awesome. I love the Groove Merchant label as well. I have some stuff from Jimmy McGriff on there, and I love all of the blues guys moving over to soul and funk stuff. Like I mentioned, Electric Mud from Muddy Waters is another one. A lot of diehard blues people don't like that kind of stuff, but I personally really do. If you're not familiar with Mr. Bongo Records, you definitely should be. They have amazing reissues of some of the sickest soul and funk and all kinds of world music, the grooves, and they have a dedication to putting out vinyl as close to the OG as possible with original artwork, and they often have OBs, and they do like alternate editions if there are alternate artworks out there and stuff like that. So definitely go check out Mr. Bongo. And again, I'm glad that I waited for this one from Vinyl Me Please. It's flat and it's quiet. It sounds amazing. I've never heard an OG, but they are very expensive. Like I said, about $100 a pop. So I'll just stick with this one, and I'm very happy with that. The last 2 records that I had were actually just exclusives, like I mentioned, and I've been waiting on, and they just came in with my August shipment, which is another great thing about being a member of Vinyl Me Please. You can order stuff along the month and just have it shipped for free in a bundle with your records of the month. But to prove that I am not a paid actor for this service, Vinyl Me Please, you have got to do better with these boxes for the bigger shipments. I really, really hate these boxes, and I almost cringe when I know that I'm getting more than 2 or so records from you a month. They don't open very well. They seem to get damaged very easily, and they never seem to be taped correctly. Like, this is how this was taped here, and it's just not cool. I actually thought that there were not 4 records in here when I got this, and they were, all taped up together in a bubble wrap, but I definitely hate these boxes. Please stop using them. Please get better boxes for bigger shipments and just, invest in that or do something, please, because I can't stand these boxes. So this is the swap that I did with the Essentials record of the month, and I'm so glad that I did. This is George Scott, Find Someone to Love, Also originally released in 1971 on Maple Records. This is a blue translucent VMP exclusive done in partnership with Real Gone Music, mastered at Sonic Vision Mastering by Mike Milchner, and pressed at Gotta Groove Records. These are limited to 750 and these are hand numbered, and this is listed as being released in 2022. However, I have not seen this on Vinyl Me Please site at all before this month, and it's still out there. And just putting this out there, it's on Discogs for super, super cheap. And Real Gone Music has the green variant that's still out there too. You should definitely go get this one because this is really awesome. And I immediately got this after seeing what was listed on the sticker, that it is a super rare soul record and one that features Jimi Hendrix on a couple of the tracks. Now, initially I thought that maybe this was one of the early Hendrix sessions that he did, because I've always heard that like Hendrix was like a session musician before he started breaking out on his own. So this must have been recorded right before he died, probably recorded in 1979 or so, or somewhere around there. And according to the write-ups, he's only listed on one of the tracks officially, and you can clearly hear that it's him. It's called Sweet Thing, but Discogs lists as uncredited on 2 tracks, which is the next track, I'm a Fool for You, and that track is actually one of the best tracks on the record. It's a ballad. George Scott has a really soulful, growly voice like James Brown meets Wilson Pickett, and this has a feel to it that is like some of the older soul records of the time. It's almost like a very, very cheap recorded sound, but it still sounds amazing in my opinion. I really love that raw soul sound. So if you're not into that kind of thing, you might not like this, but I really like that kind of raw soul sound. It's not as slick as the Philly sound, and it's not as slick as like the Motown stuff or even like the Stax stuff, but it's definitely really, really nice. Again, I was not expecting to find something like this in there. Another reason to go to the site and shop around. I actually consider swapping every month, and like I said, I've not seen this one on there, and it was a great find, and I'm glad that I got it. And back to the issue with these boxes, this one came with a seam split on the top of it, which totally sucks, but I'm gonna actually use Concert Buddy's little trick to fix the seam split, since this is a black cover, and I'm just gonna color it in with a Sharpie. But I'm also gonna request a new jacket from Vinyl Me Please, and we'll see if I get it. I don't know, because this is an exclusive from them, so I might not get another jacket from them on it. But I'm definitely very excited to have this record, and it's got a lot of great grooves on it, so you should check it out also if you're a fan of Jimi Hendrix at all too. And last, the actual record of the month for August of 2024. This is the classic record of the month, and another one that blew me away a little bit. This is Teo Macero and the Prestige Jazz Quartet, Teo. Now, this was originally released in 1957, and this reissue is AAA cut from the original master tapes from Ryan Smith at Sterling Sound. It has the updated Obi for classic records, along with this beautiful tip-on jacket, with a listening notes booklet by Jason Diamond, which is really, really nice. But I'm kind of bummed that they've moved over to a stapled booklet rather than the string-bound version. They used to have the smaller classic record booklets that had like a string bound version and a little wrapper, and then they moved to the bigger versions to match the Essentials records, and those ones still were string bound up until recently, but now they've moved over to a staple one. I'm just totally nitpicking here, but I personally like the little small touches that Vinyl Me Please puts into these things. So I was not at all familiar with this record or this artist, at least at first, and then I started to think, where have I heard the name Teo Macero before? And then I realized, holy crap, this is the guy that produced Bitches Brew and all of the Electric Miles stuff, and I made an entire video about that, which is really cool. You should watch it. And most of the stuff that he did with Miles was producing and a lot of overdubs and splicing in those sessions, and a lot of that stuff was a lot of ahead of its time recording techniques. He also produced Take 5, which is absolutely incredible, and he's responsible for a lot of the feel and the sound of that record. And so this is a solo record of his, which features some great players on it as well, including Mal Waldron on piano, Jerry Siegel on drums, Teddy Charles on vibes, and Addison Farmer on bass. And this is a really great and underrated session recorded by Rudy Van Gelder. I mean, it sounds absolutely amazing. Rudy Van Gelder is so good at recording live musicians, and this is recorded in 1957, and the vibes on this sound absolutely incredible. And as someone who has, tried miking vibraphones and marimbas and things like that, his recording quality with the vibes on this is just fantastic, and the playing on the vibes on this is fantastic as well. I don't have an OG to compare this to, but this sounds pretty amazing to me. It's great, in fact, I think so. The vinyl is completely silent, and I've had this cranked up at moments, and the saxophone is just very smooth, and it never distorts, and I've come to really enjoy Mal Waldron's piano playing from some of the OJC stuff. I got him on his own Mal Waldron 2, and then the Ron Carter record that he's on as well, which is just really great. So this was a really nice addition, and one that I'm really glad to have in the collection, and I was kind of a little apprehensive about it at first, but I'm glad that I stuck with it for this Classics record. And again, this is done in conjunction with Kraft Records. So basically at this point, it's Kraft or Blue Note for amazing jazz reissues. Kraft has all the stuff that is basically not Blue Note, like Prestige and other things like that. So if you enjoy jazz and you like Prestige records, you're going to absolutely love this one. So I went from initially not being excited for the August batch and thinking that I'd probably only get like one record maybe, and then I ended up with 4. So these are some of the coolest records that I've gotten so far from this year from Vinyl Me Please as well, and I'm super excited to get the Impulse box set coming very, very soon. So be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss that. I'm planning on going over it in detail. Remember to use the links below for Vinyl Me Please to get $80 off a year membership, and they are shipping stuff again, so definitely get some cool stuff from them. Also, if you like this video, you're probably gonna like some others on the channel, like this one here, or this one here, or any of these ones. Go watch them, share them with your friends, and come back. I will see you on the next one.